While Tamil Nadu expected an end to the suspense over the next government today, what transpired inside the state assembly left the country and the state especially at large in shock. There was utter pandemonium. You won't believe some of those images in case you missed our live coverage earlier today. Inside the house over the opposition's demand for a secret ballot. We've got it all packed into this report.
Chairs thrown, speaker pushed and assaulted. And opposition MLAs clashing with marshals. Opposition DMK's demand for a secret ballot turned ugly in the assembly. DMK MLAs rushed to the well of the house, surrounded the speaker and manhandled him. DMK MLA Aladi Aruna Pungatai climbed on chairs to raise slogans, while DMK MLAs KK Selvam and Ranganathan sat on the speaker's chair. The house reconvened to similar unruly scenes. House marshals had to intervene to control the unruly MLAs. However, DMK leaders were adamant. They sat on the floor of the house until they were finally evicted by marshals. And once outside, Stalin hit back at the speaker.
Leader of opposition, his shirt was torn and he was also beaten brutally. Democracy has been damaged to the maximum extent in the Tamil Nadu Assembly today.
What they did in the Assembly today was no surprise to me. But what I am appreciative of is that the Palani-Swami MLAs all sat quietly, not one moved from their seat. One of them got beaten up, even then he did not strike back. So I think the Palani-Swami vote is well deserved.
While the speaker finally conducted the floor test without the presence of the opposition, the unruly scenes witnessed in the house are an embarrassment not just for legislators in Tamil Nadu, but also for the country as a whole. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, the DMK's adamance on a secret ballot to that trust vote saw working President Stalin, as you saw in those pictures earlier, parading around Chennai, insisting on justice against the ill treatment meted out to his party in the assembly. It all started with MK Stalin's eviction from the assembly in what was nothing short of a spectacle. Stalin emerged outside the assembly and displayed his torn shirt to onlooking TV cameras. Speaking to India Today, Stalin, as you can see here shortly after his detention, said that he will go on to apprise the governor about the day's developments. That's what he did. He also alleged that though the DMK had misbehaved, they had only started a peaceful protest against the floor test, but were manhandled. Meanwhile, memorial politics made a comeback as Stalin and EPS both reached Jaya's memorial. While EPS sought Jaya's blessing, Stalin sat on a hunger strike at Marina Beach and was soon detained by the police, only to be let off in less than an hour. I want to quickly go first across to our reporters on the ground. Padmaja and Akshita, who've been on this story for more than 2 weeks now, and they're joining us live. Padmaja, I want to quickly come to you first because, you know, we're about to talk about a day that's going to go down as one of infamy, even in a state like Tamil Nadu, which is used to very, very violent, turbulent politics of the kind that we witnessed today. But today it had a national audience. The national spotlight, as it were, was on the Tamil Nadu Assembly as it really played out. Take us through what the state of play at this minute is, Padmaja. And I say minute because I know how fast politics turns there. Where are we at right now? What is the Palani-Swami government about to do next? Where does OPS stand?
In fact, one would expect for someone who has managed to win a very difficult floor test, there would be more cheer in the Palani-Swami camp, but that is not the case. In fact, outside the house of E. Palani-Swami, there is almost a deathly silence. There are no cadre trooping in. The roads are deserted. As for O. Selvam, it is very clear they are going to regroup and rethink their entire strategy. Today in the morning, there was a point where it seemed that the OPS camp was working in tandem with the DMK. Everything they asked for was backed by the DMK or vice versa. But ultimately, you saw how things worked out just by about 4 votes. But E. Palaniswamy managed to scrape through. Perhaps it's a recognition of how stiff an opposition now they're going to face from OPS and DMK that has made E. Palaniswamy and camp tone down their celebrations, if at all, Shiv.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if the fireworks, made a beginning today, you can expect them to positively explode in the days and weeks ahead in the assembly. It's not going to be business as usual. Akshita, the people of Chennai, the people of Tamil Nadu, watching with increasing and heightening anxiety, what's going to come next to their city and their state. The state and the city have been in a state of, of tension and chaos for I don't know how many weeks. You and I have both been covering so many of these stories, starting from the floods to Cyclone Varda, to the illness of Jayalalitha, now to this story. And we understand now that there could be another, Jallikattu style mobilization, not just in Chennai, but across the state. So what do we need to tell the people of Chennai who are obviously watching India Today at this point? What do they need to expect, Akshita?
First of all, Shiv, if anyone has any doubts about what the sentiments of the people of Chennai or Tamil Nadu is, on Twitter, the #1 hashtag right now is dissolve the Tamil Nadu government. So it really shows the kind of sentiments and what they feel about all that transpired today in the Secretariat. I'm standing at the Marina Beach. I was here 3 weeks ago during that historic Jallikattu protest. Questions are already being raised here whether we're going to see a similar movement once again taking place here at this iconic location in Chennai. A few hours back we did see protests, but that was of course politically motivated. It was by the DMK. It still got, however, a massive response from not just party cadre. We saw a number of Chennaiites also gathering for this particular protest. But as far as whether we will see this becoming mass movement of sorts, there are of course starting points which has begun on social media. People have come together saying that we need to ensure we make some sort of a change, because very clearly at this point the sentiments are with the OPS camp, and it still remains to be, despite the fact that he lost off so badly in that floor test.
Akshita and Padmaja, I'm going to let you go. I wanted to start today's show with the both of you because the reporters tell the story. Let's be very clear. It's the reporters, and our reporters especially, who are on the ground telling the story like it is through their eyes with no biases whatsoever. This is a story that's been rapidly developing. Akshita, Padmaja and the rest of our team have been doing stellar work, bringing us minute-by-minute commentary on what's been going on in Chennai. Akshita and Padmaja, thanks only for the moment. We'll come back to you a little while later. Joining me this evening now to take this discussion forward, we have Mr. Durai Pandian, AIADMK legal cell member, Apsara Reddy, also a spokesperson and member of the AIADMK, and we also have Manu Sundaram of the DMK. It's been a day of infamy, if I may call it that. There have been very, very violent scenes. Apsara, I want to start with you. Shirts torn, mics flung, furniture broken, all sorts of chaos that took place, in the Tamil Nadu Assembly and beamed for a, literally national audience today, especially here on India Today. Apsara, the Palaniswamy administration finally emerged victorious, but this has been a painful day. Would you agree with me on that, Apsara? Okay, I'm having a bit of an audio problem there with Apsara. I'll try and reconnect with her. Mr. Durai Pandian, if you can hear me, a day that has that has seen a lot of tension in the Tamil Nadu Assembly with the most grievous allegations that have been flung, between the DMK, the Speaker and others, the most unruly scenes that we saw taking place today. What is your assessment of what happened in the Assembly today, Mr. Pandian?
It is, bunch of anger. Day before yesterday, when claiming myself that we have only 10 MLAs, Mr. Stalin came out, categorically told that he'll vote, their men will vote against Edapadi Palaniswamy. And then apart from that, the Congress votes about 8 are there, and 1 Muslim vote. And like Kongu Nadu Kachi, that's another vote. Like in the meantime, one Mr. Natarajan of Mylapore constituency withdrew from Sasikala's faction and came and joined us. That apart, another Congress, another AIADMK MLA from Coimbatore constituency North, he said he is not interested in voting. As such, things were going so politely, and we were about setting a correct number, or the magic number. In the meantime, it appears due to somebody's compulsion, the speaker would have acted so. They have the basic responsibility of going and answering their constituency people. For that, they have to vote. Without even allowing that, 1 o'clock the House was adjourned. Again, it was adjourned to 3 o'clock. And 3 o'clock, there was nothing. The 3 o'clock, there was nothing. After that, they were left with no other alternative except to express the anger. They did not do as you all said. The mic was plunged. It was taken out from the table. That's all. And the table was pushed down.
Apsara, there is a sense that there is no celebrating. There is no celebrating this victory in this trust vote. The sense is that without the principal opposition, this was a faulty, confidence vote, Apsara, and therefore there's no reason to celebrate for the Palaniswamy camp. Apsara?
There's every reason to celebrate, but it's quite tame right now because we don't have our leader amidst our midst. We've just lost Purachi Televi madam. Also, VK Sasikala madam has been sent to jail by a foisted case. So it is not a time for us to celebrate, but we want to give Tamil Nadu a stable government. And if the OPS camp and the DMK were so keen on having a stable government in Tamil Nadu, why didn't they use their power of the vote rather than get on chairs and heckle the speaker? That is not democracy. I think it's a blot on democracy. Is that how the people's representatives behave when visuals are being beamed nationally and globally? Is that how the Tamil Nadu people should be projected? I think it's a shame today the way they behaved, and I think all these excuses that he's talking about, that the speaker never allowed them time, then you raise the protest in the way you should. Don't perch on chairs and break mics and heckle the speaker. We saw the visuals as well.
Okay, you saw the visuals as well. Manu Sundaram, quick first answer. Very violent scenes. The DMK was at the forefront of a lot of the violence that played out today in the assembly. Stalin has said that the speaker tore his own shirt, but we've seen the visuals, Manu Sundaram. Those were DMK MLAs indulging in the most shameful kind of violence inside the house.
Shiv, if I can make 2 points. So carrying on from what you said in your opening remarks, it's the excellent job done by the reporters of this channel and many others that have actually brought to light some of these incidents. And that's exactly been our first grouse today as well. That free media were not allowed to come into the assembly. The media access to the actual media center was cut off today. And secondly, I find it a bit ironic that the AIADMK spokesperson has spoken about governance and how MLAs must behave, because this is exactly what we've been shouting holes for almost 9 or 10 days. We've seen MLAs cooling their heels in luxury resort, being cut off from the world, absconding, hiding, taking cover, being threatened, being coerced, being compelled to do things against their will. So if that, where is the governance there? Where has the government been the last 10 days with these MLAs hiding in a seaside resort, doing whatever they've been up to? So it's a bit pricey of them to come and talk about democracy today. This is a justification for violence, of breaking of property. The DMK president, Mr. LK Stalin, has actually said, he has said this to the media, that he is ready to take responsibility.
Okay, we've lost that audio link, unfortunately, with Manu Sundaram. We're going to try and get that right back. I'm going to take this opportunity to slip into a very quick break, and I'm going to tell my producers to quickly fix those audio links so we can get on with the show properly. We're going to come right back after this break and continue. With India today, we're going to jump straight back into our big debate on what has been a day of infamy for Tamil Nadu politics. You saw all of those chaotic scenes in the assembly. Manu Sundaram of the DMK, we were just talking to Manu Sundaram. You know, I asked you a question about those violent scenes. You started answering and started talking about the media gag. Let us worry about the media gag for a moment. But I'm asking you a specific question on the violence that was perpetrated, the tamasha and the drama that was captured on camera that we've seen. There are specific visuals of DMK MLAs sitting in the speaker's chair, breaking the mic, breaking the furniture. How do you explain this behavior? Please don't say protest. Please don't say due procedure. Okay, this show really is jinxed because we've all lost that audio line with Manu Sundaram again. I think there's a bit of a curse on that audio link with Manu Sundaram, but we'll try and get back to him. Okay, Apsara, if I could come back to you, because it appears that the only person I have a direct, clear line with is Apsara herself. Apsara, you know, what next as far as the DMK is concerned? You know, in many ways, the DMK underlined the chaos that reigned inside the Tamil Nadu Assembly today. There were discussions of, you know, back channel talks between the OPS camp and the DMK so far. Now they've gone to the Raj Bhavan. They're going to be sitting on hunger strike. They're going to make life hell for Chief Minister Palaniswamy now.
DMK is always known to be a disruptive opposition. Whether it was the Jallikattu, they took part in rail rocos, and now it's the perching on chairs and heckling the speaker and manhandling him. And also in the past, Apurachi Televi Madam Jayalalitha was attacked on the floor of the house. Swabs of her hair were pulled out. You know, books were thrown at her by the DMK. So this is just a repeat of their antiques. But I feel the larger question is people need to judge the Palaniswamy government based on delivery, based on policies, based on welfare. I think for far too long, there have been too many unanswered questions, too many loose ends, and too much of crisis in Tamil Nadu. It's about time we take stock and lead decisively. I think we need an opposition which is constructive. We need an opposition which doesn't just bat for the media because it's convenient, but also talks about why. Why did they cause so much of violence today? They could have used their vote. They could have protested in the right way. Why disrupt assembly? Why make such a spectacle out of Tamil Nadu globally? And obviously we can't let the entire media in, Shiv, because that's never been the culture whichever party comes into power. And there's not enough space for the national media. There's such a huge contingent of media here today. It's practically not possible to have everybody inside.
Durai Pandian, how does it look? You know, how does it look? The DMK has come across today as a very destructive party, and it looks like the OPS camp is in cahoots with them. The irony of today's political situation is it looks like the OPS camp and the DMK are very much on the same side. Isn't that something that you shouldn't have ever put yourself in a situation for?
Oh, did you see any one of our OPS faction members was there with Stalin?
No, perhaps
can you
not.
say any,
perhaps not, but you wanted the same thing. You wanted the same thing, sir. You wanted the same thing. Both your sides wanted a secret ballot. At the end of the day, the DMK was making all the right noises favorable to you.
No. Yes. Yes, what is wrong in it? What is wrong in it? It is constitutional right of us to ask or to demand for a secret balloting.
Had it been, I don't need the DMK support. I don't want to be in cohorts with them.
No, but why didn't the OPS camp explicitly reject DMK support? You were always just, playing a flirtatious game with the DMK and not explicitly saying we don't want their support.
No. OPS camp as well as DMK was the same. Only that reason, and there's nothing else. Like we too wanted a secret balloting, and they were also insisting for it.
Will you condemn,
let my friend not
will you condemn the behavior of the DMK today? Will you condemn the behavior of the DMK today in the assembly, given that we have video evidence of the manner in which the DMK MLAs behaved in the assembly? Will you explicitly, on record, on India Today this evening, condemn the behavior of the DMK?
Of course, to some extent they could have reduced. That is my humble opinion.
Okay, so you're only saying they could have reduced, because you know that's a very mild thing to say, and I think that may itself betray the relationship you now have with the DMK, Mr. Durai Pandian. But I want to bring Apsara back in, because you know, Apsara, at this time the OPS camp plans to mobilize in a big way. You know, doesn't that worry you? Because you know, public sentiment, you know, if I may call it that, is still appears to be on the side of Mr. Paneerselvam. He's decided to go to the people. There's talk in the air of a Jallikattu style, you know, public protest against the Sasikala / Palaniswamy administration. You know, doesn't that worry you? That's going to look really bad.
See, Shiv, all the negative emotion and anger being drummed up on social media is not really the feeling on the ground. People who are daily workers, who are weavers, who are farmers, really want to make ends meet, and they want a government which delivers, and they want Amma's legacy to continue. And clearly people can see through Mr. OPS's camp that they're betrayers. Today they're kind of towing the same line as the DMK, who are the arch rivals of Amma. People can see through it. I think this entire you know, protest mode, I don't think the state needs it, the state can afford it, and the state cannot be stalled anymore. I think Mr. Palaniswamy should be given a chance to govern, and yeah, of course, judge him after his first 3 months or 100 days or 6 months, but please give us a chance and judge us on delivery and the schemes being delivered. Let's not get into petty politics of I condemn partial violence, I don't condemn it fully. What does he even mean?
A quick break. Our guests for their final comments on this. We're going to try and look forward to see what the next step is going to be like, because the people of Tamil Nadu are not so much worried about the politics. They're going to wonder whether they're going to have some stability in their lives. It's been weeks and months of instability, of turbulence in the daily lives of the people of Tamil Nadu and the people of the state capital, Chennai. When we come back, let's find out if both these factions, warring factions of the AIADMK, will provide some picture. Seems MK Stalin stole the show today with his drama both inside and outside the Tamil Nadu Assembly. But with Edappadi Palaniswamy's victory in the war for the Tamil throne, at least for now, let's tell you what the options are for the OPS camp.
This was his big moment of glory, the 7th of February, as he slowly inhaled and declared a silent battle against Sasikala. "11 days later, Paneerselvam is back to doing what he does best, grinning and bearing it. Defeated in a trust vote, he had little hope of winning and losing to the arithmetic of assembly that was loaded against him. OPS now hangs on to the one thing that gives him strength: public sentiment.
Will prevail once again.
But the OPS war now declared cannot be called off. Too much political capital has been invested for this to be a one-off war.
We will definitely go to the public now. It's already been charted down. The OPS Anna has got a clear roadmap of what and all areas he needs to visit, what and all kind of events that we should conduct to ensure that the public voice is echoed once again. And this hardly the number of 122 is a momentous victory for them, but might not stay for a long period of time.
I don't think poorly of him. I think he's a really decent fellow. But he has committed suicide because he listened to the advice of people who don't know anything about Tamil Nadu, and thinking that they represent a government in the center. He fell into that. He met the DMK leaders too, and that word got around, and that sealed his fate.
The OPS camp, which had been exuding confidence thus far, has had its first solid dose of reality and has realized that the comfort of public admiration won't be enough to win where it matters, in the house. The question now is, can OPS sustain the campaign momentum? Can OPS stain public's good books? Does OPS have a solid action plan?
For starters, OPS wants to go back to the people and whip up the sentiment across the state. Well, this could lead to a Jallikattu kind of protest against what is seen as a remote-controlled Sasikala government. And given the precarious action, the way the administration of Palaniswamy goes ahead, OPS can go ahead and plan its next course of action should the incumbent government come crashing down. With camera person Daniel, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
I want to bring Mr. Durai Pandian back in on this discussion. Mr. Durai Pandian, does OPS have an action plan going forward? You know, there has been talk of reaching out to constituencies and, you know, mobilizing support and bringing out the voice of the people. Tell us what this plan is by OPS, Mr. Pandian.
That is the actual plan which OPS Anna has, and he'll definitely approach the people of his own constituency, not only that, throughout the state of Tamil Nadu, and we expect better results in future.
Okay, he's expecting better results in future. That's a very short answer you've given me. Does that, you know, should one interpret from that you know, that the OPS camp is at a bit of a loss right now and doesn't know what the next step is, Mr. Durai Pandian? Because, you know, with all this public sentiment, the arithmetic has not come in your favor.
My brother, that is okay, but still, you know, I'm not in a condition to reveal anything now at this stage. I'm not supposed to. That is the reason I'm just keeping quiet, you know. I'll have a time when you ask, I'll give you a really, a wonderful answer which you will also like.
Okay, so you're saying that you've got, there are plans up your sleeve, but you can't reveal them because it is political strategy. You don't want to reveal that. Okay, fair enough. Apsara Reddy?
Yes.
How would you respond to that? You know, this is the AIADMK. You know, this is something that's been happening for many weeks. The AIADMK is split wide open. That's one thing we can all kiss goodbye. The AIADMK, as we knew it under Jayalalitha, is finished. It has been split, divided, completely damaged in the process as well. You've got the OPS camp there, which Durai Pandian is part of. We've got the Sasikala camp there, which is something that you are part of, Apsara Reddy. But what next? You've got the OPS camp, Apsara, now saying, we've got a plan. We've got something that we're not going to talk about in public, but they're basically putting you on notice, Apsara.
Not at all, Shiv. I don't think they're putting us on notice. I think they're kind of nailing the final nail in their coffin, political coffin, because I'll tell you why. Because the entire OPS camp has come together not to serve the people, but for one and only one interest, to keep Madam Sasikala, a woman, out of power. And the men that have gotten together behind Mr. OPS have no common political agenda. Have they even spelled out one thing that they will do for the public of Tamil Nadu? I don't think there are any factions in the AIADMK. There's one AIADMK. Rest of them have been ousted from the party. They can say they're not ousted, but they're no longer members of the party. And I think Mr. OPS clearly played into the hands of the DMK and proved himself to be a stooge of the opposition. He never upheld the legacy of Amma, and I'm finally glad to hear Mr. Durai Pandian say that they'll go to the people. I'm very happy that they finally want to go to the people. Finally, they're going to the people. What were they doing? Taking selfies and having press conference every 3 minutes.
Yes, and you are keen in only going to jail. Whereas we are all interested in going and meeting our own people from the constituency.
Mr. Durai Pandian, is floating a separate party one of the options, one of the things that is possible going forward?
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Okay, you're saying sorry to disappoint you. There's going to be no such thing, because Apsara is saying you guys are outsiders and that the AIADMK is going to unite under Sasikala. She says that the small number of people who are rebelling.
He may say so many things. What is he? Who is he to talk about our faction? Who is he to talk about our faction? He may say so many things.
No, Apsara says that you are outsiders, and the rebels have basically been taught a lesson in this trust vote, and they will be going forward as well. Okay, I'll come to you for a more detailed.
It isn't true. We are the actual party. We are the actual party.
Okay, you are the actual party. That's what they say as well. We'll leave it there for that on that question. But Manu Sundaram, I hope you can hear me now, and this audio link will not give up on us. Manu Sundaram, where does this leave the DMK? You know, the DMK has had its little, feelers and flirtations with this entire troubled situation, trying to back OPS. You know, it's blown up in the face of the OPS camp with them, not making much of an impact in this trust vote. Where does this leave the DMK? Your working president apparently wants to be on a hunger strike now.
It leaves us where we want to be, Shivarur. It leaves us in the middle of the action. It leaves us in the forefront of democracy. See, I don't know if I was clear earlier when I spoke. There were just three things that we've insisted. One is, today should have happened in a different manner. There shouldn't have been a gag on the media. There shouldn't have been MLAs held hostage, and there should have been a secret ballot. Now, if they were all that confident, these three things shouldn't have actually threatened them or worried them. But clearly, the Palaniswamy camp was threatened and worried that something was going to blow up in their face. So I feel like a lot of what has happened today is a direct result of their nervousness and their concern. Now, where does this leave us? Have you heard of this famous saying, Shivarur? Operation successful, patient dead. Yes, the trust vote may have been won through illegitimate means, but the democracy in the state stands dead today. And let me tell you what the DMK is going to do. Today, right after the drama and the confusion, we rushed to the governor to seek his intervention. Now we will give him some time to respond and take action and consider our appeal. Now, if that does not fructify, we will take to the streets, we will go to the people, we will try and explain to them the sham, the farce that has happened in this state under the name of a floor test. So, and that's where we will be. The DMK will go back to the people and tell them. And if need be, we will protest, we will go to the streets, because this government has lost the moral authority to rule the state.
This is interesting. Okay, Apsara, that's I've got both the answers I was looking for. Both the OPS camp as well as the DMK have said basically that they're going to go to the streets, they're going to go to the people, which basically means, this is a question not of politics now, this is a question of the people of Tamil Nadu. They can expect street protests now.
It proves that the DMK and
Apsara, your government is not going to be able to focus on administration and governance now. It will be distracted by all of these politics now. Apsara?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say, Shiv. I think the opposition is playing disruptive politics. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? I think the opposition is playing disruptive politics and Mr. OPS is playing into their hands. And I'm so glad that they're finally going back to the people, which they have not bothered about for many, many years. And that's why the DMK lost power even the last time. And I don't think this kind of, batting for the media absolves them of the violence that they kind of displayed today in the assembly. Why isn't the DMK answering for that? What made them get on chairs, break mics, heckle the speaker, sit in the chair? Ask them to give us a straight answer for why they did that.
Manu, you want to take that straight answer? No excuses for the kind of behavior that was seen by the DMK MLAs?
Of course, gladly. I've heard Ms. Apsara Reddy's question. I'm happy to answer. And this has been made clear by the president of the DMK, Mr. Stalin himself. He has explained the circumstances under which he went to the speaker's room, offered his apology. He said that he would take total responsibility if there was any sort of violence and for anything unruly that has happened. Now, in spite of that, when the assembly reconvened at 2 or 2:30 p.m. whenever, the speaker did not allow the DMK members to express themselves, did not allow them to speak. He ordered en masse eviction. It was a very pre-planned order, because they had brought in the members of the police force, deputy commissioners, assistant commissioners. I have the list of 9 or 10 officers who were specifically brought in at 1:28 p.m. And between 1:28 and 2 p.m. they were brought in with the sole prerogative of evicting the DMK members. This government was afraid to face a floor test, was afraid to play it fair, and they threw the DMK out. And we also that, see, whatever little footage that you may get from Jaya TV, I don't think will do justice, and we don't care for their lecture on democracy. I mean, these people are talking about governance. Where were the MLAs the last 9 days, and why weren't they worried about governance when they were cooling their heels at a luxury seaside resort? Are you telling me they've been indulged in governance activities there?
Apsara, the direct question to you from Manu is, who are you to lecture us about democracy when nobody knew where those MLAs were all this time? Nobody had access to them. People knew where they were, but nobody had access to them. And there is a cloud over the entire conduct of the politics from your camp before this trust vote. Apsara?
when there's a crisis situation in the state, the MLAs are well within the means and it's their prerogative to cloister wherever they want to and have meetings that will benefit the larger Tamil Nadu. The MLAs were free to interact with the press multiple times. VK Sashikala madam, in fact, took press conferences, had press conferences with them there, and lots of MLAs spoke to the media. So all these hostage headlines are all are proven wrong. So I don't want to get too much into that because it's not true. Everybody saw the MLAs come to the Raj Bhavan, they've come to the assembly. The DMK, when they're answering a direct question, instead of telling us that the speaker didn't allow them to speak, if the speaker didn't allow you to speak, there's a way to deal with it. There are many times the DMK staged walkouts and protests. Why didn't they do that now? Why did they wait to kind of instigate violence and then go to the governor's bunker? They could have left earlier.
Apsara, I'm running out of time now, so I want to ask one last question. I'm going to try and make it not about politics because, the people of Tamil Nadu deserve, things that are beyond the political turbulence that we've seen. But now that the Palaniswamy government has won that trust vote, they are in power right now, for the foreseeable future at least, putting all the protests, etc. aside. Is your government now going to focus on the priorities of Tamil Nadu? Do you have an action plan? There has been a drought in the state. There have been other troubles as well, both state issues as well as national issues. Is there a concrete action plan, or have the events of the last few weeks and months completely disrupted and distracted your government and now you're going to have to start afresh?
Not at all. Shiv, if you look at the AIADMK's track record, we've always been exemplary in law and order, in industrial growth, in economic progress of the state as well. And I will continue to keep that focus because we finally know when we go back to the people after 4 years, it is these deliverables that will be kind of checklisted and not who got on which chair and who scored a political brownie point or who sat down for protest. I think people deserve answers. Tamil Nadu deserves progress and the welfare to continue.
Okay.
I think the farmer, the daily wage worker, the weavers, all of them want to just make ends meet. And I think that's what our government will be about. It will be about welfare, development, and a clean focus, a blinkered focus on the common man.
Okay, a blinkered focus on the common man. Manu Sundaram, since you had that disruption in the audio, 20 seconds closing comments from you, Manu.
The DMK president, Mr. Stalin, said this, and I will just echo it once more. The day that Mr. Palaniswamy was sworn in by the governor, we extended our wishes to him, but said, please do not take orders from a jail cell in Bengaluru. I mean, this government, like Apsara Reddy said, the people deserve better. They deserve much better than you glorifying someone who is a convicted criminal in a jail cell. Please focus on people's issues. Please focus on infrastructure. Please focus on farmers' issues. That deserves your time, not glorification of, convicts and taking orders from a cell in Bengaluru.
Well, the story is far from over, and we're going to keep an unblinkered focus on the story. I think the words used by Apsara are good to quote here. Blinkered focus on the common man and woman of Tamil Nadu is really the order of the day. We're going to see how it actually goes out. The cynics in us will say politics is going to only get more intense and uglier. There will be street protests, there will be violence perhaps, but we here at India Today take no sides. We will cover the story and bring out the facts as they play out. Apsara Reddy, Manu Sundaram and Durai Pandian, thank you so much for this very constructive debate here on India Today. Thanks for joining us. We're taking a quick break. Up next, Padmaja Joshi from Chennai brings you the best primetime rap